Hi, I'm Linz. Welcome to Becoming Everwell, a channel where we talk about the ongoing journey of becoming. I'm a former high school English teacher who believes that an education extends far beyond academics, and I write stories about small sacred moments of clarity that come about in the pockets of life. Today's piece is about the value of tears. I make sense of life by writing about real everyday stuff that makes us who we are. Some of these snapshots are fun, some are more serious. Maybe they'll open up something in you too. Let's grow. It's rare, it seems, for adults to get so pulled into a cry that one loses their breath in the way little kids often succumb to their heaviest tears. You know, the kind of sob where one inhale gets broken into 2 or 3 fast intakes of breath between outward heaves, You may have experienced this kind of release while reading something like The Notebook or Marley and Me or A Little Life. I certainly did. Or while watching that one most awful episode of Grey's Anatomy when we said goodbye to you-know-who. I was tear-stained and blotchy for a whole day after that. In a first-hand way, when my personal experiences have been the cause of my tears, I've experienced this kind of heavy crying only a few times in adulthood. One of those times was just this week. One of my sweet dogs died. It's been an eclipsing kind of ache for me and my family. But each time I've cried this hugely, my nervous system seemed to have been so overcome by the mixture of felt emotions that all I could manage was a total purge of tears and breath and moans. And I can pinpoint each occasion precisely because an uncontrolled cry that requires us to lose and catch our breath is more rare than not. Many, I imagine, wouldn't even allow this kind of cry to escape from their grown-up bodies. But I'm not so sure why that is. Is heavy crying shameful, embarrassing, childish, too revealing, too uncomfortable for others, too uncomfortable for ourselves? I wonder what would happen if we allowed our tears to flow more easily and freely. My mind has been opened lately on the value of our tears. Recently, I was part of a faith-based book club where together we read and discussed Richard Rohr's book called The Tears of Things. Rohr, if you're unfamiliar, is a priest and writer on spirituality who has been referred to as a modern-day mystic and prophet. His book covers much ground, but I'm particularly taken by Rohr's thought that tears, quote, proceed from deep inside, where we are most truly ourselves. Tears reveal the depths at which and from we care, end quote. He also writes that, quote, when we cry, we are revealing our truest, most loving self. We seem to be afraid to trust, much less show this secret side of ourselves, yet it's there in each of us, end quote. And in describing the work of tears, he describes it as being, quote, a little secret chemistry in the soul, end quote. I mean, wow. Since reading that, I've been imagining tears as the gateway to a secret chemistry in our souls. Why ever would we hold them back? If I had to put myself in one of 2 boxes, crier or non-crier, I'm for sure a crier. I surprised a good friend recently when I shared with her some of my all-time favorite TV series, Parenthood, This Is Us, 30-something, to which she replied, "You must like to cry." And yes, I told her, I do. I like to emote. I'd rather feel things than not. But still, I felt a little odd to claim crying as a feel-good activity because, after all, crying is synonymous with sad, isn't it? The English language limits us with the names for the vast array of cries that come from us. Losing a pet, stage fright, an accidental sexual innuendo in a serious moment, disdain for leadership, a skinned elbow, watching your child get recognized for their kindness, and realizing 100 steps into an IKEA build that you'd irreparably messed up on step 2 are all scenarios that could garner tears. But these would be wildly different kinds of tears. So I scanned through my experiences, and with an assist from AI, I will admit, to come up with a list of 13 different kinds of cries. Here goes. 1, grief, sadness, loss crying. 2, joyful gratitude crying. 3, physical discomfort, pain, or need crying. Number 4, exasperation or exhaustion crying. Number 5, empathy, sympathy crying. 6, frustration, overwhelm, stress crying. 7, anger, passion crying. 8, nervous system circuit breaking crying. 9, embarrassment, humiliation crying. 10, laughter crying. 11, nostalgic crying. 12, nervous, fear crying. 13, being seen or understood crying. This list is comprised of the kinds of circumstances that can prick alive our tears, but I'm quite sure that these listed kinds of cries don't do all the work of revealing the secret chemistry in the soul that Roar describes. Although our vast emotional landscapes can show up in our tears, it's only with some inquiry on one's own or in conversation that we can unfold the secret side of oneself that comes to light through one's tears. And if you, like many, are afraid to trust, much less show, this secret side of yourself, my hope is that we can all explore the idea that tears may be our human superpower. Perhaps tears are our greatest strength as a species, because tears have the power to invoke authenticity, honesty, love, healing, and meaningful connection. I like to imagine a world in which tears are considered so precious that we're more inclined to collect them than wipe them away. I like to imagine a humanity in which our jars of tears become a recognizable measurement of a successful, love-rich life. But if that's too much or too far from the reality of today, perhaps the next time we experience a tear of one's own or from another, rather than reaching for the tissue, we choose to reach for that invitation that inherently exists within that tear, an invitation to the truest, most loving part of one's personhood. Let's keep growing. I'm Lindsay Hurdy. Learn more about me and my offerings on my Substack, lindsayhurdy.substack.com. And you may not know that in addition to publishing my own writing, I help people write all kinds of important letters and documents, from college essays to end-of-life love letters. You can learn more at foreverletterwriting.com. I'd love to support you in your writing. So whether you're here for help with writing or a desire for inner fulfillment coaching, which I offer, or for the quiet inner growth that may accompany my stories fireside with my dog Teddy, I'm grateful that you found this spot in the web, and I hope you'll keep coming back. I'm sheathing you in blue, and if you don't know what that means or why I put blue hearts next to everything, check out my video called The Perfect Blue. Until next time. Be sure to like and subscribe and click that bell to get alerts for new posts. I'd be ever grateful.